The absolute fuck is up, everybody. Austin's saying that I'm asking for a lot, but it's really not a lot. Welcome to Gridiron Junkeez. That's a pretty good intro, is it not? Kiki, there's a little bit of energy there. Today is September 24th, so we record a day in advance here. So if I'm talking in like terms like it is Saturday. There's a lot of college football games going on, but I like having everybody who's in the family on the show. I think you and Cap are like the last two, and then I don't think Nicole really wants to come on, or Odie, but maybe we can get them on. But anyways, my Uncle Kiki.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, George, for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to see, this wonderful setup you got going here, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so sure. You and I have talked football probably more than like anybody I've ever talked football with. Because you would take me to games like young like Oakland Coliseum days. I said on a past podcast, I really thought Sunday football just smelled like weed. Like I thought that's the way that football smelled because you would take me to the Raider games. So do you have any like old crazy Oakland Coliseum stories? What are some of the shit? I mean, you've told me some shit that they would do to opposing players.
Well, the Coliseum is, to me, that's home for the Raiders. That's
right.
Passionate fans. But no, I've seen everything from jerseys being thrown from the Mount Davis, which is, after a while, they tarped it off.
The top section?
Yes.
Because they would throw jerseys off the top?
Well, I've seen jerseys. Rumor had it somebody was throwing off the top. I personally never
thrown off the top?
Yeah, the top of Mount Davis there.
No shit.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
We did see a jersey just like the one you're wearing, actually.
No shit.
Flying from the 300 level up there in the Coliseum when we played the Steelers. One of the best games I ever went to out there.
So they were playing them like when they had Jerome Bettis, back in those days? Or?
No, this was back in 2000, maybe 8, and around there. It was with Asamoah was one of the corners.
Okay.
For the Raiders, and then Big Ben was the quarterback. They had Hines Ward.
Yep. Troy Polamalu. Still probably like late in his career.
Yeah, I think Troy was there. So
yeah. So I remember one time told me people have thrown batteries and shit at players leaving the. Have you seen battery throwing yourself?
No, not myself. I did see it on television, and I saw it in Mile High when they threw it at one of the Raider players, and I couldn't remember who it was, but it actually came right from where they go in. But this was on Mile High.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
We talking like double A's, triple A's, D batteries?
9 volts.
9 volts?
No, what's the D's, man?
Oh, D batteries.
Yeah.
So you brought me up being a Raiders fan at first, and I found the Saints after Reggie Bush started fucking Kim Kardashian. That's what solidified me being a Saints fan. But then you also brought me into being a Celtics fan, and it would be a disservice to not bring up like what our head coach just got finished doing. When did you first hear about Ime getting suspended?
I heard about it a couple of days ago. Just came across ESPN as I'm watching SportsCenter, and then of course went on Google and looked it up a little bit more and had no idea.
I didn't no idea that he had that in him. Or do you think he's been slinging dick like this for a while? That's just what basketball players do. They're always traveling. Yeah, always on the road.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, I can't speak for the man, but he did sling his dick here. I mean, I don't know, but I hope it was worth it for him because it's a year suspension, and I get the feeling he might not come back.
No, he's not. He's not going to come back because the Celtics are that good, and no matter who else he's going to get forgot about, man. This is like a legacy ruiner type shit. Now, I did want to. I pulled up the person that he was having the affair with. Her name is Allison Feaster. Would you say Feaster or Feaster?
I mean, he was feasting on her.
Feaster. He was feasting on that for sure. He left Nia Long, and I didn't know that Nia Long because I always watched Are You There Yet or Are We There Yet? And Nia Long is the mom that was Ice Cube's like husband at the time, and so this is what his current wife looks like, and
yeah, that's his partner. I think
it was his partner. Girlfriend
was probably
yes. Was is probably a pretty accurate statement, but was it worth it? Probably. Why do you get suspended? First off, I don't understand this. If you like, the Celtics were obviously doing something right last year, you know.
Yes.
You know what?
For sure.
So people would say, would we have won the championship if our coach wasn't dicking down one of his assistants?
They might say that, but it also might be that he just got motivated even more by getting that assistant and just kept,
because
improving. I don't know.
What was her job title? You said her job title. I found it to be hilarious.
It was like player relations and coach relations. It was like manager of player and coach relations.
Yeah, I'd say she was doing a good job. Now, me personally.
Well, I think if I read it correctly, she was like, no, he came on to me. Like, I think that's what it was. So, like, she wasn't relating very well.
Oh, come on. I see. What I always wonder in these kind of situations is, like, somebody's snitching or, like, how do you truly, do you get walked in on, like, by a janitor? Like, are you trying to find, like, what actually happened? All right, Austin,
the woman recently accused Udoka of making unwanted comments toward her. So he ain't even slinging dick. He's slinging compliments.
You don't get fired for compliment? What?
Yeah, I would think that. Have to have
so originally
more.
It said that they had an improper, intimate, and consensual relationship. And then it was like, nah, he was just making comments at me. He probably was like, nah, bro, she loves it.
Dude, yeah. You can't blame him. And he's like a handsome guy. He's way better looking than Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens looks like a fucking nerd. Like a little dweeb. Ime looked like he had some sustenance to him, like, a little bit of history, a little, rugged. But do you think the Celtics will go back to the championship again this upcoming year? That's tough.
Well, I think the players ultimately are responsible for the success that ultimately goes on to, the coach and all that. But the players really are the ones that are going to show if we're going to, move on and go to the finals. I believe that we will because, whatever was in place, this assistant, Coach Mazzulla, I think it is, that will be running our show.
Yeah.
Coach Mazzulla, I'm sure will just stick with what,
was already in place. And
exactly.
We can't act like Brad Stevens wasn't the coach of that team last year.
So, and having Stevens steps down, puts his input or whatever, and to have this, what's her name again?
Allison Fester.
To continue does she continue to have relations with the players and maybe, the new coach?
Maybe the players are like, hey, give me the email.
Give me the email treatment.
So,
yeah. Do you think Brad Stevens stepped down because she's actually like a dominatrix and she's like, this is what you need, Brad, bend over. Okay, this is a football show. Back to football. The Knowles, you're wearing a primetime Deion Sanders jersey. Jameis Winston also wore number 2. I want you to know. Like, what I said was valid. I thought you were wearing a Jameis Winston jersey.
No, this is primetime.
Now, you've been watching a couple of the Knowles games. They're 2-0, yeah?
Yes. 3-0.
3-0. Any scares so far?
We had a tough one up in Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Our quarterback got hurt. Jordan Travis and Rodemaker came in, and actually, I thought he did a great job.
I have to say this. What's it with these scrawny, skinny ass quarterbacks? Like quarterbacks they're just getting like pencil thin, dude. Like Justin Herbert is fucking a twig. Lamar Jackson, twig. Right. Rodemaker's a twig. I do remember him coming in. He's
Rodemaker's a twig, but he's a true passing quarterback. I think he's a different dimension than Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is very athletic. You know, you can do a lot more things with him. Roll him out. He throws really well on the run. This kid's more of a drop back passer, which I think those are the ones that are successful really in any level, especially at the pro level. When you get these Lamar Jacksons, which are very elusive, and that's fine, Danny, but when you look back at history, you got the drop back passers that have always won the ultimate prize, you know, and that's the Super Bowl. So to me, like the Drew Breeses you mentioned just now, Justin Herbert, those guys are, you know, to me,
they're the future. Yeah. So they don't play anybody serious till what? Clemson, Florida State? Like, I mean, there's not too many challenges in the ACC these days. There's Miami, there's Clemson, and then there's...
Well, they have Boston College this week, so that's an opportunity for them to go to 4-0, and I think if they get that win, they'll crack the top 25.
They're still not in the top 25.
No.
People aren't buying into them.
No, and they still have Miami there. They still have, you know, Florida there, which I think it's...
Yeah, no, the rankings are all fucky, man, because I was taking BYU last week against Oregon, and Oregon, they slide down to 25, but I just don't get it. Like, because Oregon is obviously a top 10 team, you know? I don't understand... why it's such a dramatic slide, you know, after a bad showing. Georgia might win the title again this year.
I agree with you 100%. They look solid. Every facet, offense, defense, the coaches, that's just a team that's on a mission.
So do you have any college football locks of the week? Well, you said there's no locks in life. We went over that. You said, what is the only way to leave a casino a winner?
By coming in there, looking at the odds, walking right back out without placing your bet.
There we are.
If you were going to place the $5, 20, 100, whatever, go put it in a piggy bank. When you get to my age, you're going to be doing well, son.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's key. But what if I hit that 10-teamer, you know? Have you ever hit, what's the biggest parlay you've ever hit?
I don't ever bet 10-teamers or anything like that, but I had a Sunday that I hit about 4 different $100 4 and 5-teamers.
Holy shit.
And I remember the dude that was living next to me at the time, he was really into sports betting as well. You know, he was taking numbers somewhere else, and he just couldn't believe the day I had. I mean, it was just like, I go, wow. I mean, one of those days you piss anywhere on the board, you know, and you're going to win.
And that's before mobile sports betting. That's back, you're getting the fucking ticket. People don't get the ticket anymore.
No.
I mean, it's not, I guess it's not as convenient, obviously. But there's nothing like a good sportsbook conversation. There's so many smart sports betting individuals that just hang out around there.
Yes, and that's a great point. Back then, when I hit this parlays, like I tell you, we had still what they call, you know, pagers, beepers in the sports books. This is how back I'm going to. And these were, you know, the so-called wise guys, you know, dumping their money or whatever. And they had runners, which I actually did that myself for a while too. So they'd give us the cash. We'd go out and, you know, make the bets. So working in sportsbook myself as well, I worked in sportsbooks when we had to handwrite the tickets. Now imagine that on a Super Bowl Sunday. All right, with about maybe only 8 sports books at the time, not like what you have today. And, you got to handwrite the ticket, stamp them, give the customer his copy, put the other one over here. So that was exciting. But back then, what was neat about that and seeing these people in the sports book, there was a lot of information that was spread around and, shared. And you knew who was who. Being in the sports book industry, I knew that I could trust this person. If they came up and made a bet, I said, that's legit. Other people, you don't know if they were, getting off another game or whatever, So you knew who to trust and, who would give you the right,
the
information.
That's so neat. That's so neat. No, because you go to sportsbooks nowadays and, like, although those conversations are going on, like, people really aren't mixing. They aren't, like, mixing and mingling, like, intensely. You know what I mean?
No, I don't see any of that going on. I think the guys that I'm relating to are long gone out of the business. Who knows? They're probably,
fucking.
Some are dead, probably. Yeah. I mean, some are dead. That's all, but wise to the max. I remember some of these guys, the reason that you can only bet so much on the totals are because of that.
Is because they were really pushing the limits and fucking running the casinos for whatever they could.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you had a pick for this weekend, though. You said you like Tennessee versus Florida.
I do.
The Vols are Florida's an interesting team to me because they got that coach that reminds me a lot of that one coach from Last Chance U. Did you ever watch that show, Last Chance U?
No, but you're talking about Bill Napier.
Yeah.
Coach Napier.
Yeah. So the Florida team looks like the best Florida team that I've seen in a while. Like, Florida football's popping off right now.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
So why do you pick the Vols? Are they as good as people have pointed them out to be?
The Volunteers are going to make a statement this Saturday. I've been watching this series between the Gators and Volunteers forever. Although I'm a Florida State fan, I've always kind of leaned a little bit towards Tennessee all my life. I got, to the States and watched college football. They were like one of the main teams. And I just seen them lose so many heartbreaking games in the last 18, 20 years to the Gators. I think they're like 1-17,
Damn.
But speaking of Florida, I'm not sure they're all the way back. They did get up for a couple games. They really haven't played any competition, and I think Utah could have really got in there and let loose a little bit more than they did. I think they were very conservative with, the atmosphere at the Swamp, which I could totally get it. But I think, that's a game that they won that they probably should have lost.
That game played at Utah, it's different. It's a different story.
Yeah,
no
and
doubt.
They picked the kid off with 6 seconds to go or something at the 5-yard line.
Right.
But I think Tennessee is been waiting for this opportunity. It's a game to showcase what they have. Their offense is very potent. Again, they played Akron last week. They put up 56 or 63.
They did what they were supposed to do.
But I think they're going to do the same or very close to it. I know most handicappers out there think it's a big lay, 10.5 or 11. But I think the number's right. And I looked at Tennessee to beat them by over 20 points.
I'm the only game that I'm really looking at this week because me and my extensive research, not too much. I looked at the UNLV Utah State line, and UNLV's 3-point favorite going to Utah State. And I think this UNLV team this year is like fucking exciting. UNLV football is exciting for the first time in a long time. And it kind of feels good. You know what I mean? Like, there's been so many years where we've been had a lost identity, but now we finally, the big thing is, it's always been this case. We never had a defense. So UNLV finally is, been putting together some guys that can actually play decent coverage. People aren't going to get fucking roasted. No. They're atop the leaderboard. By the way, we got to mention San Jose State though. Junior playing against Western Michigan this week. They're 7-point favorites at home. That 7 number kind of scares me because of the week 1 that they had with Portland State. And they didn't really do what they were supposed to. But, you know, I think they can make a statement if they, you know, trust the big fella up front and they run the fucking ball this week. So UNLV -3.5, take it. And then San Jose State -7. They're going to run the ball. They're going to fucking pound it down Western Michigan's throat. And they're going to, you know, cover for us. Tennessee's going to do their thing for you?
I would think so, too. That's a revenge game for San Jose State.
They dropped one
last year.
Yeah. See, I didn't pay attention. Oh, yeah. You that was a game played at like nighttime at Western Michigan. It was like one of those weird ones.
Very early in the year last year. Played. So that's a revenge game for them. And I think if they come out with the same intensity they did 2 weeks ago, they will be okay. They will definitely be okay. But they got to step up.
Okay. I want to wrap up here with your thoughts on the Raiders. What the fuck happened last week? You guys gave up the game. Were you at the game?
Yes.
Okay, because I had called you like right after, and I figured you were kind of upset. But I wanted to have you on the show to get that true emotion from Sunday. But how did you feel on Sunday?
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastating. You know, I've been waiting all year to see this team that we have, which is a very explosive offense that we have. And, you know, everything worked out the way I thought it would in the first half because we were just doing
what you should have done.
What we should have done.
Devontae Adams, a heavy dose.
And Arizona, it's really not a good team. I mean, this team was, you know, beaten pretty bad by Kansas City in their own, you know, stadium. So the fact that we were up 20-0 and they had no life at all, it seems like to me like McDaniels just shut down the offense. It's because we didn't get aggressive after that. It wasn't like we came out in the second half and we were trying to score 40 points.
Right.
By no means. It was like we were just trying to get by and get out of there with a W. And I didn't see anything on offense that, you know, dictated, hey, we're looking to get some more points. It was just horrible. The biggest thing in that game is we were missing our 2 middle defenders, Perriman and Morig.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, with the quarterback of Kyler Murray's, you know,
what do you
talent,
call it? Yeah, speed.
I
don't think talent's the right word.
Right. No, he's speed.
I think he's just fast as fuck.
He's fast. He's short. So you got to just use things to your advantage when you're on, you know, defense. To me, when they were at the 5-yard line, they're late at the game, and they were at the 3.
Can I pause you right here? Mm-hmm. You guys should have sent more than 2 fucking people after the quarterback. You guys dropped 9 people into coverage.
20 seconds. The stadium just kept getting louder and louder and louder every second that went by because it's like, what the hell? Who's going to go after this dude? You know?
Right.
And I'm not a, you know, defensive coordinator on that league, and I respect everybody because they got there for a reason, but whatever happened to an all-out blitz, hands up, this dude's 5-something, you know? And you're not going to give him a chance to run around
to fucking breathe.
And survey. Plus, how tough is it on the defensive backs to cover for 20 fucking seconds?
Yeah.
You know?
It was I've never seen it. Like what normally happens there is he throws a laser to somebody in the back of the end zone, and that makes sense to me. He walked into the end zone twice. Didn't even have to punch it.
He showed him the ball.
He fucking he should have thrown up the peace sign.
He started showing him the ball at the 8-yard line when he was walking in. You know? But again, it's being a Raider fan and being in that, you don't know how many times we've seen this. It's repetitive.
McDaniels, so if you're to give him an honest rating, start of the season, how's he doing for you?
Honestly, I'm not a McDaniels fan, to be honest with you, but to give him a rating, I'd say, right now, it can't be that good. I'd rate him probably 50%.
Yeah.
And I say that because, in fairness to him, I don't know what the defense was doing.
Right.
and those two players that I mentioned were huge. I think if Perriman's in that lineup, I know Murray's not going to do that from the 8-yard line walking in. I think, and Morick the same way in the middle. But and the defense was tired.
Yeah.
Second half, they were out there the whole second half. So they didn't play that bad. That defense, tried as hard as they could. I think the coaches are to blame on that one.
Yeah. All-out blitz Kyler Murray late in that game, and it's a different story. Kiki, I'm going to have you back on again in the future. But do you want to shout out your social media so that the people can follow you if you want to do that?
Yes, please, Kiki Cassis on Instagram. And a shout out to my lady, the Big O.
The Big O.
And
we love you.
San Jose, go Spartans.
Yes, sir. Okay, Austin, send us into halftime. I know, you weren't ready for that one. You weren't ready for that one at all. I'm ready to go into halftime, though. And now we're going into halftime. All right, we're back. Second half. I was trying to make it funny. I was really locked in on my phone. For the second half, I decided to bring on Adam Lieberman, or more like you decided to bring yourself. You did remind me that you wanted to be on. So I'm grateful that you did that.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to the people if they didn't watch the fantasy football draft. You're the owner of?
Nakaoi,
okay.
Which means for the 10th time during the it means the best. I spent about 10 years in Hawaii, so that's why it came from that. So it's been fun. Only 2 weeks in. It's the first time that I've had multiple. Well, I've had 2 teams before, but this year I have 4.
Whoa!
And it's gotten to a point where it's very difficult because you're rooting for some players, to do well, but then you're going against them in the other leagues. And it's so frustrating.
So because do you sports bet on games?
I don't do any sports betting at all.
Okay, so that would really fuck you.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, you don't even watch football at that point in time. You're just like, whatever the result is, it is.
Yeah, just go with it.
So what league are you doing most successful in? Because out of 4, after 2 weeks, you have to be 2-0 in a couple of them.
1-1 in every single one.
Fucking A.
Yep. Yeah. Last
Close?
week last week in the big league, I put up, I think, 130 points, which is great. And the person I was playing against put up 226.
Oof.
It was 2 points off the top. This league's been going on for, I believe it's now 18 or 19 years, and it's the second highest score ever.
Wow. Yeah, how did they even get that many points? Like who? Like
she had. Let's see who she had. Lamar Jackson, St. Brown, and Stephon Diggs were the 3 big ones.
Wow.
I mean, she got 100 points or more than 100 points from those 3 right there.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I have yet to crack 100. I am only in one league. That is the Gridiron Junkeez Fantasy Football League. If you haven't been catching up, watch our content. You'll be able to see some more of this stuff. So you proposed to me a trade, and I did make this a rule in our league that every month you have to make one trade. Mm-hmm. Your trade entails me giving you Tyler Higbee, and in turn, I receive Logan Thomas and Kadarius Toney, to which I didn't even know who Kadarius Toney was, so I had to do a little researching before the show. And, you didn't have to throw him in there. We could have just went tight end for tight end. You're tossing me like a nobody wide receiver.
Yeah.
Onto that. Was it just like he's more likely to accept if he sees 2?
I think that's what more is what it is, because I don't think the 1-for-1 trade is suitable.
Okay.
So I always throw in something else just for the hell of it.
Now, the one thing that did appeal to me about this trade, because at first when I looked at it, I was like, I'm not sure. Like, what do I want to like re-propose to you? But then after looking at it, Logan Thomas, the Commanders tight end, they have a lot of like really shitty teams coming up in their schedule. So I think what I'm going to do is live on air, I'm going to accept this trade. And then with the plans of later trading Logan Thomas to the next person who has a tight end who's going to be playing shitty teams for the remainder of the season. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so now I am accepting the trade. Tyler Higbee. I do have to drop one player. This is sad for me. I'm going to drop Justin Fields. He's so bad.
I don't think he's so bad. I think the Bears in general are so bad.
I just got the notification that Riley Reid option accepted the trade.
You know what's crazy about that trade? And I can say it because you've accepted it. I just picked up the tight end 2 days ago.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just picked him up 2 days ago.
And he actually scored 12 points last week.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's like nobody.
No.
And I think in a Carson Wentz type offense in which Carson Wentz gets kind of crazy, the dump downs are just there all day for that Commanders team. And I am now a Commanders tight end fan. I really do hope that they run the ball a lot and we get a lot of play actions to prove that I won this trade. Tyler Higbee is a clutch pickup for you.
Yeah,
I think are you going to start him this week?
I have to. I don't.
Okay.
He's my only tight end.
Okay.
I dropped. The kid from Green Bay. Was it? I can't remember the guy's name.
Big white guy.
Yes.
Yes. That's not his name.
Yeah, big white guy.
Let's
Toner.
Tanyan. Robert Tanyan.
Yes, that's it. So
Yes.
that's why I dropped,
Sounds like a
and
lumberjack.
it's fun. It's
Have you been to any Raider games this year?
not
so
this year.
far?
Well, there's only been one.
One, yeah. So
Not
you
this
didn't
year.
go.
No.
Okay. Do you plan on going to one at least this year?
I'm not going out and buying tickets, but if somebody says, "Hey, you want to go?" Sure. Like last year, I ended up going to 2 games, and both times I was invited.
Comp tickets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, no, it wasn't even comp. They were just, somebody had extra. And last season, we also went. My girlfriend actually, ironically, went to 4 games last year. No, 5 games last year. She went to 3 Raider games, a Niner game in San Francisco, and a Titans game in Tennessee.
Damn.
Yeah.
She loves football?
Well,
or is
she
football
likes
family?
the Niners, and so her parents, or her mom, I should say, has had season tickets for the Niners. I think they've been in the family for like 50 or 60 years. And so she still has them, and so we'll go at least one game. And then she happened to be in Tennessee for a bachelorette party, and they decided to go to a Titans game.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think she was at the bachelorette party looking for the cutest football players on the field? Did that ever cross your mind?
You know what? There's a trust there, so I'm good with it.
Okay.
And it's, what is it? Different area code or zip code or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Bros in different area codes.
Yeah. So I'm
sure.
good. I'm good with it.
Okay. Who is your favorite team, by the way?
For NFL, I really don't have a favorite team.
Okay.
My favorite team is whoever is going to get me points for fantasy football. I guess I'll probably stick with the Raiders or the Niners, just because Raiders being here in Vegas, Niners being Eva's favorite team, and she's got gear and all that stuff. So
Right.
either one of them, and then more colleges will probably be the Trojans, USC.
Have you? The Trojans are looking good this year. Caleb Williams is looking quite impressive.
They look good, but I think
They've played nobody.
They've played nobody. I thought Fresno State was actually going to give them a little more of a challenge than they got from them. But no, I think Lincoln Riley's got the team that he has is incredible.
Yeah, they don't really see a challenge. I brought this up on one of the earlier shows. They don't see a challenge till October when
Yeah.
they play Utah.
You've got Utah. I mean Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's not what they
End
have
of the
been.
year.
No.
Yeah. Notre Dame has made a steady decline. I know they dropped their first 2, but did they finally get back on track this past week?
I think they did win this week. I think they're 1-2 now.
Notre Dame fighting Irish.
No, they may have not won a game yet.
No, they beat Cal.
Yes.
They beat Cal this last week, 24-17.
Which doesn't, that's not impressive.
But to start off the year being ranked 5th overall, get trounced, then lose to Marshall when they were 8 overall, and then now they were finally out of the top 25. What do you feel about the rankings?
Rankings, okay, so preseason rankings mean nothing.
Right.
It's what people think is going to happen based upon, obviously, the previous season and the recruiting classes. The real rankings for me come out when the Bowl Championship Series, or whatever they call it these days,
Yeah, the college football playoff.
playoffs come out. That's what the rankings really are, because ultimately that's what they're going to go off of.
Right.
But a lot of these teams have been ranked too high, too low. I think Georgia is still the creme de la creme and the number one, and should be. I know you were talking with your uncle earlier about Tennessee and Florida State. Florida State right now they're 3-0, but they still have Florida on their schedule. They still have Clemson on their schedule. They've got these Miami. Again, the thing with college football just in general, those first 3 games, a lot of times you're playing these schools that is a money grab, and they're trying to make money. I mean, what is it? UNLV going to Michigan? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the worst thing about it all is, like, where do you really see that money being, reallocated? Because it's a significant amount of money that these teams get paid. And, I wonder, when it comes down to the logistics, if that dollar amount entails the travel to the place. Like, do they pick up all the travel, comp the hotels and the meals? Or do they say, hey, we're paying you $1.5 million, but we got to take off, $200,000 because that'd be interesting.
And the thing with especially UNLV, and if you look at UNLV now, the facility they have in place here should recruit, or should be able to recruit, top players.
Yes.
With the practice facilities, the training facilities, and then obviously Allegiant Stadium, they're incredible. But then you go to some of these schools now, the LSUs, the Floridas of the world, and these facilities are just insane. They're they're ridiculous.
It's a dollar amount that I feel, and I've said this plenty of times, West Coast teams, they just don't have that financial backing that a lot of, like, those down south type schools or back east type schools get to that next level. And you do see it in a couple of places. Obviously, Oregon, SC is going to get that treatment because of, like, the brand.
Yeah,
right?
but
It's
again,
popular.
But even if you look at SC, I mean, a perfect example is UCLA. UCLA is 3-0 right now. Okay. I think their last 2 games, they had 30,000 people, maybe, at the Rose Bowl, which seats over 100,000 people. It looks horrible.
Oh.
But here's the thing with it. You go to Oregon, you go to, Tuscaloosa, you go to, Tallahassee, wherever you want to go in the country. On a Saturday, the football takes control. It has the power and the strength. You go to LA, there's so much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
People don't care. And then the other thing with it is the facilities. You look at UCLA. I'll use that as an example. UCLA Westwood to the Rose Bowl is a 45-minute drive.
Right.
A lot of these schools have their stadiums on campus. It makes a difference.
When we went to Auburn and it was on campus, it's because it's just too easy for all of the people to just congregate right from their dorms, all these young drunk teenagers, to go and fucking fill up the stadium. And the Rose Bowl, although being prestigious, it's doing them a disservice.
Has been for years.
It's doing them a major disservice. I feel the same way in terms, like, with UNLV, like UNLV moving to Allegiant. At least at Sam Boyd, it didn't look half as bad. But now at Allegiant, it's like, holy shit, this is not a good attendance. But I think they're turning it around. I think
I think that UNLV is on the right page, on the right path, I should say. They've got a long way to go. But what's going to happen there is they have to be consistent. If they go into next season or even the season after that and they start to flutter and those, get to a bowl game. Get to a bowl game. And that's got to be your starting point. Get to a bowl game.
You are playing who this week in our fantasy football league?
Princess.
Princess. My princess.
No, not your princess.
Who the fuck's Princess?
The princess behind the desk.
And did you guys have anybody play on Thursday? I want to just give.
Yes.
Not in that league, and he did. Yes, I did not. No.
I am currently down to a person that I'm going to have on the show soon, Madison, because he said he moved back to Vegas.
I'm
for
at
good
9
now.
points right now.
You're at 9 points.
I had
who'd you
Kareem
have?
Hunt, Kareem Pie.
Good. He only got you 9. No touchdowns, huh?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
No, because Chubb is their number one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. They'd rather get to Chubb. Deontay Johnson is the receiver I had. He had 8 receptions for 84 yards. I'm wearing, the Big Ben jersey. Mitchell Trubisky needs to get the fucking boot. Kenny
I don't think so.
Pickett, in my eyes, is the man. Because that Browns defense last night, the Browns were they have a horrible defense. Because you don't allow 14 points in the last minute and a half a game and say that you have a decent defense.
Right,
That's a bad defense.
it is a bad defense, but I also don't think they're using Trubisky as they should be. I
Should be
think
running more.
he can be. He can actually move. He has the ability. They are using him like Big Ben, and Big Ben was a pocket passer who could not get out of the pocket. He can move. He can run. He can do, if you want to play options, you can do quarterback sneaks. There's a lot of things you can do with him, and they're not using him correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think what happens in Pittsburgh is that they're quick. They're quick to the fucking axe. And I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later because you in this league, you just have to produce victories.
100%.
And if you don't, then the fucking Pittsburgh Yippers, they start booing you. The Yinzers, I think is what their proper term. But anyways, in your guys' matchup, it's 9-0 because you didn't have anybody
Right.
playing. But you are still projected to win. Are there any last minute trash talking that you two want to do before we wrap up here?
Adam, what do you have to say?
You're
Sorry, that's all the time we have, man. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay, Adam. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, I know that sucks that it has to end that way. But Adam, shout out your socials before we get out of here. So anybody
A. Lieberman on Instagram, and of course Action Junkeez podcast over there as well. Be sure to give that a listen. Some great stuff happening there, and congratulations, you guys have done a great job with this one as well, and keep that shit going.
Yes, sir. All righty. Gridiron Junkeez out. We'll see you guys after Sunday Night Football to recap the weekend. Deuces.